Today I have to review Jaws the Revenge. What up, horror gang? I'm Eric Harrison. Welcome to the Death Twitch. It only took me 3 fucking months, but we're gonna finally wrap up this goddamn Jaws franchise review by talking about the stupidest one in the whole series. We've got Jaws the Revenge from 1987.
Instinctively, man has always been drawn to the sea. Its beauty, its mystery, its secrets. But there is also a vague uncertainty, a sense of intrusion into an alien world, where man is unwelcome and completely at the mercy of the most terrifying predator on Earth. Man's deepest fear has risen again. Jaws, the Revenge. This time, it's personal.
Jaws the Revenge should have been called Jaws the Cash Grab, because that's exactly what it fucking was. Directed by Joseph Sargent. And what's the plot of this movie? Well, apparently Martin Brody died of a heart attack, so now our main characters are Ellen Brody, his wife, and his sons Sean and Michael. They still live on this fucking island for some reason. Like, oh god, why? Dude, it should have moved to like the middle of Africa, or just the biggest landmass that you could find. Stay away from the island, stay away from the oceans. I'm just saying. It seems like common sense, right? But anyway, they're still on this fucking island. And I want to say that apparently this movie completely ignores the events of part 3. Yeah, I guess they were just like, fuck you, part 3. That's how much this movie is an asshole. This movie is like, fuck you, part 3. And then they deliver a piece of shit when part 3 was actually like a masterpiece in comparison. Anyway, continuing with the plot. Yeah, they still live on this goddamn island. It's winter, which contrasts with the whole tropical Bahamas scenes that come later in the film. But why is it gotta be Christmas? Like, seriously though? Is there any kind of a real reason why it has to be Christmas? Why start your fucking killer shark movie with Christmas carols? And speaking of which, we've got the whole choir thing going on at the beginning, which I think is a throwback to Jaws 2, which opened a similar way with like the marching band or whatever the fuck. Anyway, apparently Ellen Brody is living in the world's smallest apartment, cooking some fish, of course. I don't know who else picked up on this, but I mean, we're shown about her. She has this psychic connection with her family. She's got the mother's intuition going on. She knows what he's doing behind her back without looking. You know, she knows that he's stealing fucking food from the salad or whatever the fuck. And then she knows that he's about to cut himself, and then he does. So immediately what we're shown is that there's some kind of psychic connection between her and her family. Okay, I guess that's important. Whatever. Anyway, so Michael, the son Michael, is in the Bahamas being a scientist, and then our other son Sean is now the deputy or the sheriff of Amity. And so again, why are they still on this island? And then he's going to be like the sheriff following his dad's footsteps. Well, he's going to follow in his footsteps right into that shark's fucking mouth. Speaking of his father, there's an important character clearly missing from this movie, and that would be Chief Brody. Now, Roy Scheider was very much against doing any sequels at all. He only did the second Jaws because he was contractually obligated to do it. And then after that, he was just like, you know, go to hell. And so we've got this scene here at the sheriff's station in which there's a portrait of Chief Brody on the wall, which at first you think would be like it's an homage to the hero from the first film, but really, to me, it kind of seems like a fuck you to him by the filmmakers. Like, oh, you're not going to be in our movie? Well, fuck that. Here's a big-ass picture. You want to put it on the wall. We're going to make sure we're keep you in frame, and like, we're just going to keep you in the shot for as long as fucking possible. Yeah, look at that. You're in the movie, you son of a bitch. Take that, Roy Scheider. But anyway, there's like Christmas Eve or some shit, there's a call come in from, there's a log stuck somewhere. So He's got to get on a boat and go unlodge the log. Now, what I want to know is, did the shark put the log there to trap Sean? Or is it just coincidence? Was he just in the area and he was going to get him eventually anyway, but this was his first opportunity? This is an important question. Did the shark fucking set up Sean to come out there and eat him? Anyway, doesn't matter. Fucking gets his arm eaten off and then he fucking gets killed. And poor ass Mrs. Brody lost her fucking kid to this shark, had to deal with shark problems numerous times. Her fucking husband died while probably afraid that while sitting on the toilet he was going to get eaten by a shark or some shit. So, I mean, that's how the movie starts, and then her other son Michael comes down and is like, hey mom, let's go to the Bahamas and chill there. So, okay, first of all, it's fucking stupid that they still live on an island surrounded by the ocean, but then they're going to be like, hey, let's go to another island. Let's go to a fucking another island. Why not? These people are just begging to be shark bait, I swear to God. Okay, so yeah, then they go to the other island and then the shark fucking follows them to the Bahamas somehow? How the fuck? Does she have a psychic connection to the shark too? Now see, I picked up on the whole mother's intuition thing at the beginning. I wonder if there's supposed to actually be some kind of psychic connection with the shark as well? So the shark knows where she went and he fucking followed her down to the Bahamas? I don't know, doesn't make any sense. Anyway, the movie's boring as fuck and nothing happens till the last 20 minutes. Let's talk about the cast, because I can't believe that a movie this shitty had so many actually decent actors in it. We've got Mario Van Peebles in there looking very much like Hermes from Futurama. Lance Guest is in this movie, who you'll obviously remember from Halloween 2. Is it just me, or is there a few scenes in this movie where he kind of reminds me and sounds like Paul Rudd?
I've always wanted to make love to an angry welder.
Maybe it's a stretch. But, I don't know, I see it in there. And then we also got Michael Caine. I don't know how he wound up in this movie, but there's actually this scene where, look at him be actually drunk in this movie. That's how much he fucking cared about this fucking flick. And then we got Lorraine Gary, of course, back to play Ellen Brody, who's crying right now because she just read the script for this piece of shit. Oh yeah, and let's not forget the shark. The shark eventually does show its face. It shows up eventually like 30 minutes into the movie like, hey guys, what's up? Looking all fake as shit. The shark, it's like this is the shittiest looking one in the whole bunch. Even shittier than some of that bad compositing in part 3. The shark looks like it's made out of velvet or something. It's not smooth like a shark's skin would be. I don't know. It looks like it's made out of plush. It's a plush shark. I don't know. Whatever. And it's always up out of the water like this. It doesn't need to be in the water at all. This shark is always like, roar! Yeah, that's right. It roars too. Okay. So, here's the thing, right? Here's the part now where I gotta really tear into this movie, because Jaws, the original, is a fucking classic and a well-written, extraordinarily directed, greatly edited masterpiece of a fucking movie with some great performances, like timeless performances. The original was so fucking good, they should never have made any sequels at all, let alone getting down to this piece of shit, The Revenge. This is an insult to the original. Now listen, the original Jaws was an adventure thriller. This one, in comparison, is a boring ass melodrama about Mrs. Brody, her fear of her family getting eaten by sharks, and then her trying to hook up with Michael Caine. It's a melodrama, and it's boring. This is an idea that could have worked. They could have worked out the details of this. I do like the idea that, hey, let's make this more about a character study, more about the human characters, you know, how all these events have affected Mrs. Brody and all that. Could have been interesting. Unfortunately, this shit was rushed. And when I mean rushed, this movie was made in less than 6 fucking months. From the time that they rolled the first frame of film to its release was 6 months or less. Holy shit, no wonder why do they do that? I guess I sort of understand you have to have a deadline, but sometimes that's not a good idea. Sometimes you want to fucking take some time and work some shit out before you just put together some shit and release it out and say, hey, here we go, Jaws the Revenge, everybody go see it. And then we do, and we're like, what? They should have took more time on it. But yeah, like I was saying, the idea of how all this shit has affected Mrs. Brody and whatnot could have been interesting. As I said, unfortunately it was rushed and not really developed. This is I'd say the main contrast of why this movie sucks in the series, because the original, like I said, adventure thriller, this one boring ass kind of daytime drama bullshit going on. Like, who gives a fuck? The movie is so boring up until the last 20 minutes, and that's when it finally starts to get funny. Here's the thing, and where I want to call all you guys out, because I have not seen this movie since I was probably 9. I didn't really remember anything about it, so going into this, I heard everybody talk about, this movie is so bad, it's so bad, it's so funny, it's so bad, it's so funny. No, it ain't, dude. It's fucking boring as shit. It doesn't get bad enough to be funny until the last 20 minutes. And then, yes, if it was like through the whole movie like it is in the last 20 minutes, this would probably be a classic bad movie. Like, it's kind of already considered a classic bad movie, but in my opinion, it ain't. Oddly enough, the flaw of this movie is that it's not bad enough. It doesn't get funny bad until the last 20 minutes. And then when it does, yeah, you know, it becomes funny, it becomes fun, and you get to make fun of it. I literally pointed at the screen and laughed my ass off when they showed that fake-ass backdrop. You can see the waves actually hitting the backdrop like 10 feet behind the characters. It's fucking stupid. Yeah, and then so it does finally get funny. We've got the shark constantly always roaring up out of the water, roaring like a dinosaur or some shit. And then Ellen Brody drives the I don't know boats. The pole in the front of the boat into the shark, and it explodes for some reason. And there's another ending to this, actually. In fact, the other ending where the pole hits the shark and it kind of just breaks off and like decapitates the shark or some shit, and then you see the shark's head going down into the water. That's the one I remember from when I was a kid. I actually somehow I saw that ending, and this one with the explosion, and you can tell it's like a miniature. It's like super miniature. It's shot really badly. This explosion that happens is fucking stupid. And then Mario Van Peebles comes back somehow, even though he just got not only ate by a shark, but then blown the fuck up. And he's like, oh, be honest, just a scratch. Okay. Yeah, well, I'm so glad to be done with this. Let's fucking wrap this shit up. Like I said, it either should have been a better movie in general, or it should have been worse than it actually was. And unfortunately, the whole first hour is not funny bad. It's just bad. So if you've never seen it, just skip the first hour. Go straight to the end. That's when it gets good. As for a rating, I'm going to give it a 1.5. That's probably even being a little generous, but I'm going to go ahead and just stick with that. 1.5. Why the fuck not? Damn, am I glad to be done with this. I can't believe it took 3 months to review 4 fucking movies. Anyway, hell yeah. Thanks for sticking through that with me. What'd you guys think of Jaws the Damn Revenge? Anyway, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out. I'll do one more just because I can. Because I'm fucking awesome like that. Alright, settle down there. Settle down. That's why people watch your videos. To see you settle down. No, get crazy. Oh, I'm about to get crazy up in here.